Hi friends, it's Jerrm, and today I'm making a customized birthday card using a multi-layered reverse painting gel print. It sounds fancy, but basically we're going to paint backwards, trust the process, and hope that in the end it looks like a birthday card instead of evidence of a crime scene. I'm using this image that I found off of Pixabay, and I made it a black and white image, and I printed it in black only on brochure paper. I've done a video about that kind of process before. I place it face down and press firmly. You want good contact, not destroy the paper pressure, but also not gently petting a sleeping hamster type of pressure. Somewhere in the middle, a firm, even pressure. Now, when you slowly peel that brochure paper away, you can see that this black outline of the flowers has transferred onto the gel plate. And this is what's going to give me the guide that I'm going to use for reverse painting. And it looks really nice. It's actually turned out quite nicely here. When I say reverse painting, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to paint whatever details and colors that you want directly onto the gel plate in reverse order. So the first thing that you paint is going to end up being closest to the top layer in the final print. And it may feel a little strange at first. Sorry about that. Because while you're working, it can look really messy and really backward and very questionable even. Which, to be fair, is also how I like during most home improvement projects. But with gel printing, you have to trust that the final pull is going to bring everything together. One thing that I'm not showing here is that earlier I've already prepared the paper that I'm going to use for the final card. It's a 300-gram watercolor paper. I've painted it a soft blue and green acrylic background on beforehand because this background will set behind the flowers to give the whole card's gonna have like a fresh spring-like feel. Now I'm mixing up a very light pink peach color for the daisy petals. It's a soft color, somewhere between pink, beige, and peach. It's basically the color you'd get if you're trying to paint a whisper politely. You paint a whisper politely. Well, you get the idea. So I'm using a small brush to fill in the flower petals directly onto the gel plate, staying inside the lines as much as possible, even though at times it does kind of look like my toddler, painting. But that's okay, because this is where reverse painting part does get a little slow. So in this video, I've sped up parts of it because watching every single petal being painted in real time would be peaceful for some people and possibly a mild endurance event for others. So let's keep it moving. Now for the centers here of the flowers, I'm using a gold Liquitex acrylic paint. I really like this gold paint for gel printing because when it dries, it gets pulled, it can almost look like gold foil. So it has a really nice shine to it, especially when it catches the light. Since this is a birthday card, I think we're allowed to be a little festive. Birthdays deserve some shimmer, something that, doesn't necessarily look like a Vegas magician's jacket, but gives it a tasteful amount of shimmer. Now, um, before I pull this on the final paper, I want the flowers to stand out a bit more from the background, and I'm going to use a little lightning behind it. Lightning, no, whitening. If I use a straight titanium white, it's going to be too strong. It would cover too much of the image. So I'm mixing in a little bit of the white paint with a clear matte acrylic medium. It's going to dilute the white and make it more translucent, giving the flowers a subtle backing without turning them into little glowing headlights. Going to apply this mixture only over the flower areas because I want the leaves to remain darker. So I'm not covering the whole plate with the white mixture. I will use, or I'm going to use the acrylic medium here, the clear acrylic, to be the final pull that I'm going to pull it onto the final paper. You want a thin, even layer here to help it pull all the previous underlying layers. You don't want it thick and gooey like a sloppy lasagna. I brought this watercolor paper that I've already prepared beforehand, and I'm going to add this heavy book on top of it in order to give it time to dry out and to pull all the layers later on. Since it's a multi-layer pull, it's going to take some more time to dry than a quick single layer pull. Now, while it's drying, I'm going to prepare the happy birthday design that I want to put on the front. And this is similar before. It's black ink only on the brochure paper. I put it directly onto the gel plate and I pull it to show the happy birthday wording that I'm going to use for the final card. So I'm trying a new paper here This, for the next pull, it's a wet strength tea bag paper. It has a slicker feel on one side and more of a traditional tea bag paper texture on the other side. I wanted to test it because it's supposed to be good for collage, and I thought it would work well on this card without adding too much bulk. Once the happy birthday is transferred onto the plate, I'm going to add a soft gold and white mixture on it because I want the text to be readable. I don't want it to overpower the floral background though, because this birthday message should say happy birthday, not look like some type of glaring neon sign on the red light district. So let's keep the color soft and warm. Now, you do want to make sure that it's added evenly onto the plate, but another method that I'm going to use is I'm actually going to take a stencil and remove some of the um, excess paint from the edges, and this is going to also allow it to give it some texture without overpowering everything. I keep deli paper around for this exactly this kind of thing. It's useful for removing the paint, catching extra texture, and eventually can become collage material itself. Honestly, at this point, half my studio scraps are just future art supplies waiting for their anti-hero redemption arc. I'm pressing the tea bag paper firmly onto the small gel plate. And here's where I learned something important. This paper is not necessarily a quick pull situation because when I first check it, it's still very wet and not releasing the way that I want. And it's probably because I live here in Florida where the humidity sometimes feel like the air is trying to become soup. So instead of forcing it and risking either tearing or only having part of the words come through, I'm placing it back down and I'm going to put this heavy book on top and let it set for a few hours. This is one of those moments where patience is important, and unfortunately, patience is also the art supply that I ran out of first, but I wait. Later, after it's had time to dry, I come back to pull the gel plate away from the tea bag paper because for delicate pulls like this, I usually prefer to peel the gel plate away from the paper instead of the paper away from the gel. It gives me a little bit more control. And I have to say that this paper does a really nice job. It held up well and did not tear. The print came out cleanly. Even though it took longer, I was impressed with it. And I've used other wet strength papers that work well, but they can either tear more easily or they just fall apart. So this one feels really sturdy. Now I'm back to the main birthday card pull. The larger gel plate has been setting underneath the heavy book to give time for the acrylic medium to dry and bond to pull out the layers. So again, I'm peeling the gel plate away from the paper slowly and carefully. Most of this image pulls quite nicely. There are a few small parts of the petals that lift in perfectly. I think that probably means I could have used a slightly better layer of acrylic medium in those areas, or even let it dry longer. But these kind of pulls can set of they can sit overnight, and I've done that before. And it can help with cleaner transfers, but even with a few imperfect areas, I think it turned out really nicely. The flowers have a soft handmade look, the gold centers give it that little shimmer with the blue-green background, working well for the floral design. So I folded the watercolor paper in half to turn into the actual card, and I'm trying to decide which side I want to actually use as the front. One side is darker, has a darker background. I'm worried that it could be too heavy or show through the happy birthday too much, so I end up using this lighter side, the front card. And I'm going to attach the happy birthday piece onto it. I'm positioning the tea bag paper on the front of the card, um, just where it's set, and I pull it a little lower towards the bottom because I really like that flower near the top, and that's what I want to stay visible. And so to glue it down, I'm going to use that same clear matte acrylic medium. It works really well as an adhesive for collage and mixed media work. It goes on white, dries clear, and helps everything become part of the same surface. So did I use a ruler to measure it exactly in the center? No. Should I? Maybe. Will I? Absolutely no. Because I just eyeball it. It keeps the piece feeling handmade. And honestly, if something's slightly off, it's just part of the charm. Because a custom card does not need to look like it came from a factory. It should look like an actual person has made it. I add another layer of the matte acrylic medium over the top to seal it, to secure the tea bag paper down, to give a cohesive surface. Drying time can really depend on humidity. On a dry day, it makes it faster. On a Florida day, it may decide to become a long-term relationship. You want to completely let it dry before you write or sign anything on the inside. The finished birthday card looks great with the reverse painted daisies. I really like how it turned out. It's personal, handmade, and a little more special than buying a card from the store. Not that store card bought cards are bad, but this is just special. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you do, please hit like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day.